Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Future, our weekly show where we show all the comics that are available to order this week. I'm Jason,
I'm Andy.
and we're with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. So we have a lot of different comic covers to show you.
Yes.
Wouldn't say it's necessarily the biggest week, but we have several comics, particularly Action Comics 1050, that
Mhm.
have a lot of covers, and a lot of what the show is about is letting you choose which ones you want beforehand.
Yeah.
So let's get into things. So we're going to begin with our featured comics, and gee, I can't imagine what the first one's going to be.
Huh. Well, turns out it's Action Comics 1050. So, comics love their landmark issues, and it gives them a good round number chance to kind of kick off something new. And that's what this is going to be doing. This is going to be setting up the future of the Superman family for a while to come. So this is going to be written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, who's been working on uh, your regular Action Comics title,
Right.
and Tom Taylor, who's been doing Superman Son of Kal-El. And we also have Joshua Williamson coming in, who is going to be the writer on Superman going forward. So it's kind of a handing off of the baton from one creative team to the next. It does say this is a new beginning for Superman. I think that's their way of also saying, hey, this is a good jumping on point. You know, it's wrapping up some of the previous stuff, but you're going to going into the next phase of that. And what is that? Well, it looks like Lex Luthor, that wily Lex Luthor, once again is up to no good, and this time he is going to be stealing something from Superman. It says something like so kind of big or important that it could change the world.
His intergalactic passport.
Yeah, exactly. His get out of jail free card or something. But it says, if you thought you've seen the biggest fight between Superman and Lex Luthor, just wait. So I don't really know what to get out of this. What is this thing that's going to change everything going forward? But I'm very excited for a new era of Superman to start. I think DC is making a very good move because Superman is their flagship character. Their kind of OG original, uh, most important character, even though Batman is the more popular. Superman, it's good to have a really strong Superman showing, and I'm excited to check this out. The other big thing with this, like Jason mentioned, is a ton of variant covers. So I've got the list over here. Let's see.
So before we get to the variants, I want to say there are 17 variants for this book, not counting incentives.
Yep.
So these 17 open order ones. A lot of what this show is so that you could tell your store in advance because we have until Sunday to place our DC
Yeah.
orders. So if you tell your store in advance which ones you want, that guarantees you get them. Now with that many variant covers, there's no way that we're just ordering large amounts of
Yeah.
those. That would be very cost prohibitive. And I have to say that I do our DC ordering, and when I see that issue 1050 has that many variants, it tells me something important is going to happen in it.
Yeah.
But what could be that important for 17 variants in DC that doesn't have to do with Batman? So Lex is stealing something from Superman. Is it his chair in the Trinity? Is it going to be like Wonder Woman uh, and Lex Luthor and Batman now? Because I mean, as much as Superman is the OG, I think only a Bat title can carry that
Yeah.
many covers. So anyhow, check these covers out. Let your store know which one you want, because I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's the hard part of our job is we just go by this one looks cool, so we order a little bit more. But it's good to have like everybody's
Yeah.
actual opinions in there.
When we see that, a dozen of our customers want one cover, well, we know that's a hot cover,
Yeah.
even beyond our own taste.
Yep.
So let's roll through the 17 covers, and you can watch along and decide which, one, two, three, 16 of them you want.
Yeah. So we've got the A cover, then we have the Jim Lee variant, which I mean, great contender for the best cover.
Yeah, this one was just released before we put the show together.
Mm,
So if you watch other shows and they don't have that, we go out of our way to try to get these to
yes.
the last minute.
We have the Alex Ross homage cover, which is really nice, uh, to Action Comics #1.
I would also say there is a foil version of this that's a
Mm,
separate cover that's available to order. That's one of the 17 as well.
okay. Then we have the Megan Huang variant.
Little Mixelplex,
Yeah,
looks
it's
like.
real funny. We have the Crystal Kung variant.
Well, I mean, this has to be somewhat of a hint as to what's going to
Does
happen.
he steal like Superman's like personal collection of kryptonite? Like,
Maybe.
we have the Lee Weeks, which is great having young Jonathan on there.
Very wholesome.
Yep. We have the John Jiang
This
variant.
one's great. I mean, just totally left field of the other
Yeah.
ones.
We've got the RAHZZAH variant, where yeah, very interesting. It kind of looks like he's fighting Zod.
Yeah, I think you're right.
We have the Delotto variant.
Oh, there's Batman.
Yep. So,
How can a Superman book sell tons of copies? You gotta get Batman in
yep.
there.
We have the Mike Perkins variant. It looks like Lex is going to be like. He looks like he's doing some sneaking into somewhere, is what a lot of these covers are alluding to.
Yeah,
We have the Riley Rossmo cover.
interesting.
This one is great. This is the Dan Parrott cover. Your artist from Archie Comics doing this great. You'd almost say this is an homage cover
For sure.
to
Yeah,
classic
it's
Archie.
yeah, it's them in classic Riverdale.
Yep.
So, and now I want that super double straw.
Then we have the Steve Lieber
That's funny. All the
with
comical characters,
yeah,
Crypto and Monkey
OTTO,
and
I think. Yeah. And we have the Demio variant.
bright as always.
Yep. We have the Pamela Huge Boom variant.
They have so many variants on this. A few, it's like I don't even know the name of some of the
Yeah.
artists, and we go over these names every week.
The SZERDY variant,
Yeah,
which is very
SZERDY.
nice.
Up and coming, very talented cover artist.
We have the Sarmento variant. Is that steel forging something?
Yep. And so the next one we're going to show actually is from 1051.
Right,
So-
yeah, but we have to put in our orders early because
Right.
it is an embossed cover. So you see Superman facing off against Metallo, and yeah, you've got to get your orders in now for this. I mean, I'm guessing this will look really cool being embossed and shiny.
I think so for sure. You'll be able to feel like all those ridges on the
Yeah.
skeleton and tend to pick their nose.
Always the fun
Yeah,
thing.
this is great. So this is a Steve Beach cover. So they'll have a regular version of this, but they're making the orders for the embossed one have to be due already. So just to clarify, this is for 1051,
Yeah,
just
the
this
next
one
issue.
cover. But our orders are due for this embossed one by Sunday.
The other thing to mention that we just saw right before this started was article came out that Jonathan Kent and Clark Kent are getting their secret identities back. So
Right.
I'm guessing in this issue, or 1050, you'll find out how does that even happen. That may work in somehow with what Lex is doing.
It seems to it would have to. I mean,
Yeah.
because Lex is doing something major, and then such a major thing like they get their secret identities back. It's almost like does he make it where the world forgets them?
Yeah, yeah. I'm very interested. They're setting up a very full sounding Superman story.
Yeah, and often we get issues, advanced copies, and they didn't give us an advanced
I
copy of
know.
this one.
One's like I would have had so many things to say or
Yeah.
tease.
Okay, so moving on from all the Superman, all the Action Comics 1050, we have Avengers War Across Time. So I know this looks classic. It almost looks like what you would expect on like a trade paperback collection of older stories. But no, this is a brand new story told about the older team. This is by writer Paul Levitz with art by Alan Davis. And this is going to be a 5-issue miniseries with this classic team of Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Giant Man, and Wasp. So it's set back during their heyday where they go up against Kang and they're going to have to battle Kang throughout time. So it's sort of like a lost adventure. Yet another chance for Marvel to sort of get Kang in the
Yeah.
limelight. I think we see where all that's going for probably Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I'm pretty interested to read this.
And some classic creators having, Paul Levitz, who was
Yes.
the head of DC for a while.
Yeah, Eisner award winner
Yep.
too.
And Alan Davis, who, I mean, such a classic artist from Excalibur and so many great things.
Well, what I think is funny, so Paul Levitz, this is his first work at Marvel. Like it is his first
Wow.
work. Later on in the show, you'll be seeing a variant cover for DC by Joe Quesada, who was Marvel's previous head. So they're just
Yeah.
flip flopping there. Okay, so here is the COCCOLO variant, and here is the Davis variant for Avengers War Across Time, the new upcoming 5-issue miniseries.
Then we have this one really interesting. This is Sandman Universe Dead Boy Detectives #1. So if you're not familiar with the Dead Boy Detectives, their first appearance was in Sandman #25, and they have had some kind of their own stories along the way. There was, Vertigo did a Dead Boy Detectives miniseries with like Mark Buckingham on art and everything, but they're kind of breakout stars outside of Sandman. So it's two best friends. They are both, of course, dead, and they're detectives, uh, kind of ghost detectives investigating paranormal things. And in this one, uh, a girl living in LA goes missing, and the dead boy detectives have to track her down. And it seems that she's been taken by some really terrifying spirits that are based off of some ancient mythology. So I really like that they're continuing doing these Sandman Universe Presents tie-in books, exploring some of the other characters. We got the Corinthian this time, Dead Boy Detectives. So very cool. This is gonna be 5-issue miniseries. Uh, and this is our A cover for that.
I think it is six
Is
issues.
it 6 issues?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, 6 issues. And then we have the variant by Alex Ekman.
The more you look at that.
Yeah. And then we have the Tyler Crook variant. So Deadwood Detectives are very like in the spirit of like a Hardy Boys or a Nancy Drew, but with like a dark edge of that they're dead. So if you think that sounds good, I really like the miniseries. I read that a few years ago. I think you will like this.
Okay, so this is not a new title. This is not a new ongoing title for the Something's Killing the Universe. This is Book of Slaughter. It is a one shot. It's going to be triple sized, and for that reason, it is going to cost $9.99.
It's gonna be like a
So
trade.
yeah, it's pretty big. It's just a one shot, so it's Book of Slaughter, and it is going to showcase the future of both Something's Killing the Children and House of Slaughter. It's sort of a setup for here's where everything's going. From what I've read, it's going to follow the White Mask, Maxine Slaughter, so we get to follow her for a while. And on top of that, with it being so big, they're also going to include a section that's a guidebook to the Order of St. George.
Cool.
So for the most part, it is news story that's supposed to launch the futures of both those titles, but there is some guidebook to it as well. So that's what's going on with Book of Slaughter #1. Again, if you're on House of Slaughter, you're on Something's Killing the Children, your store might not automatically grab this for
Mhm.
you. So it's always helpful to just nudge them. Go, hey, make sure I get
Yeah,
this one.
I'm more hesitant when it comes to books that are that price,
Yeah, that price
expecting
too.
people to buy
Yeah,
them.
and it could be maybe you're reading those and you don't want to buy the $10 one
Yeah.
shot. Good to let your store know that as well. Okay, so this is the Deladera variant, who of course is the interior artist. I guess I should have said this is by James Tynion
Mhm.
with Deladera doing the interior art. And then here is what they're calling the FOC reveal variant. It's usually one that they don't show until right around order
Mhm.
time. I would also like to mention there is also a Dylan Todd bagged variant. They don't really have a picture of it because I mean it's black bagged, so who knows what the cover is under it. But you would have to ask for that one specifically. So it's same price, $9.99. So there is a Dylan Todd black bag variant as well. Okay, so those were our featured #1s. Now we're going to get to all the other #1s.
Starting with the return of Green Lantern. This is actually just a one shot, though. This is John Stewart, the Emerald Knight one shot. And I feel like this is kind of capping off the previous Green Lantern uh, series, in that he became the Emerald Knight, this kind of new, super powerful version of a Green Lantern when he took in the power of the Godstorm. Well, this is going to be, it seems like wrapping a lot of those stories up, where he is going to go up against the Mad New God, along with the help of the rest of the Green Lantern Corps. So they are getting ready to launch two new Green Lantern titles coming up in the next few months, a Hal Jordan one and a John Stewart one. I'm guessing this is kind of setting him up for how that's going to be going. You'll probably find out this does he keep this Emerald Knight title, or
Persona.
does
Yeah.
something in this kind of send him back to being just a Green Lantern? I feel like this is kind of like clearing the table, getting ready for that next one. But if you are a fan of the previous one, because it's written by Jeffrey Thorne and the art is by Marco Santucci, your team that worked on the previous one, it's 48 pages. Let your store know. And this is our A cover for that. And then we have our B cover by Jay.
I would never accuse that cover of not having enough green.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so next up, Witcher has a new 4-issue miniseries called The Ballad of Two Wolves. And in this, Gerald gets summoned to a town that is having a werewolf problem. It's supposed to be a lone werewolf, but reading the title, The Ballad of Two Wolves, I have a feeling there might be more than one. So that's the general premise for The Witcher's new 4-part miniseries. This is a regular cover. Then we have the Rebelka variant.
It's really cool.
We have the Schmidt variant. And lastly, we have a Lopez variant.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit more about this. It said that also there were like 3 piglets that are also have arrived in the village. I didn't know what to make of that, but
And
now
then
that
you
I'm
see
looking
this.
at this cover,
Hmm.
yeah, interesting. So it sounds like they're getting some almost like some fairy tale,
Mm-hmm.
some Grimm's tales are getting
Yeah.
pushed into the Witcher universe.
Okay, next up we have our next installment of Batman One Bad Day. This one is Batman One Bad Day Catwoman, if you can't tell from the cover.
That's some attitude she's got going on
Yeah.
there. The thing with the neck and the lips.
And she has a tiny little bird in a cage on her hand. So this is written by G. Willow Wilson, and art is by Jamie McKelvey. And in this, Selena Kyle discovers that something that it sounds like she had owned and stolen and maybe got rid of uh, is now back up on the market for way more than what she sold it for. And this drives her crazy, and she's going to try and steal it back. It's kind of a FOMO, like she's a little jealous she didn't get the top dollar for it. But she's also going to come up against a character, I guess a new character named Forger. It says that will change Catwoman's life forever. I guess when she just learned she can forge things instead of stealing them. I don't know, but it sounds really good. This last one, the Mr. Freeze one, I thought was fantastic. Uh, I'm looking forward to this Catwoman one. So this is our A cover for that. And then we have the Giuseppe Camuncoli variant. And there is also a Jim Lee variant, like there's been for all of them, but the image for that was not ready yet.
Okay, so Sergio Aragones is bringing Gru back in a 4-issue miniseries called Gods Against Gru. Uh, so you know somebody's been in the business so long when they could just call their friend up, and who's another famous artist, and go, "Hey, can you letter this for me? Because this is hand lettered by Stan Sakai."
Mhm.
These two have been in comics so long
Yeah.
together, not a problem to just help each other out.
Yeah.
So I thought that was another really cool point to this. So in this, the legend of Gru has grown so big on Earth that a god version of him appears in heaven, and Gru has to kind of deal with the fallout of that.
Wow.
So yeah, a new 4-issue miniseries by Sergio Aragones himself with hand lettering by Stan Sakai, and just the one cover.
Wow.
They're old school. Respect.
Next up, we have Godzilla Rivals Rodan versus Ibira, and I like Ibira because he's just like a big old lobster guy. But this one actually, I thought the description for this one was super cool because it doesn't really involve too much Godzilla. It's more about those two rivals, and the two kaiju are imprisoned in a space station, and they wake up, break out, and have a dramatic fight as they're falling to Earth. So I was like, that's an awesome idea of just like these two kaiju like meteors fighting, going through the atmosphere, and who's going to be the victor when they finally make landfall. You have to read it and find out. So that is, it's just a one shot in the Godzilla Rivals series. This is our A cover, and then we have our B cover by She,
Almost looks like Rays are about to hit the ocean. Godzilla's like, oh, now I'm in the battle.
yeah,
Okay, so next up, Deathgasm has another series. It's a mini series just called Deathgasm. So this is from the writer director, New Zealand writer director Jason Lee Howden, who he directed Deathgasm, a little indie movie if y'all have seen this. He also did Arms Akimbo, which
yeah,
is
with
really
Daniel
Daniel
Radcliffe.
Radcliffe, yeah. So he's returning to comics to bring back Deathgasm, and in this, the band reforms and they go on tour, and of course have an adventure. Because every time they get together, just demons get summoned and
Yeah.
such. So that is what's going on with this, and it is just the one cover.
And next up, we have Department of Truth Wild Fictions Special.
What's up, guys? Happy Thanksgiving.
She's not gone permanently. She's still here. So we have Department of Truth Wild Fiction Special. Now I'm glad we're covering this one because this is one like it's so hard for me to find a clear answer on this because I read the descriptions like that sounds familiar. It's because this is actually collecting the two Bigfoot issues, centric issues from Department of Truth, which are a lot of people's favorite little story arc in the series where they the part of the department, the field team goes out to try and stop this Bigfoot before belief in him gets too far out there. So this is just a one shot because it is just collecting those two issues, um, but it does even have a variant cover. So we also have the Spawn variant. The Spawn variant is yeah, I don't have the artist listed, but super cool that even this one gets a Spawn variant.
Yeah, a lot more. Stay tuned for all the other Spawn variants. This was the one
Yeah.
I produced the show this week, and this was the one I had already put here, and I was like, oh, I don't want to go back and reshuffle it. But we have a whole block of cool Spawn variants later on. Okay, so next up is all new Firefly big damn finale. This is, I mean, it's kind of what it says it is. It's a double size issue that is ending Firefly series at Boom. And so it says that a beloved member of the spaceship Serenity is going to uh, do the ultimate sacrifice.
And judging by the hat there, I
Yeah,
have an idea, but
hopefully not. Hopefully it's not that obvious,
yeah.
but I kind of agree with you. So here is the regular cover on that. Here is the Malavia variant. And then here is the Carrie variant.
Ooh, that's foreboding.
Yep, for all new Firefly, the finale.
Next up is a new spin-off book from Jennifer Blood. This is Jennifer Blood presents Hit Woman, and this kind of breakout character from that series, Italian assassin Giulietta Romero, stars in a noirish, and this is what caught me off guard, a noirish reimagining of Shakespeare's The Tempest. So bringing some
Some
literary class
fairies
into
and
here, and yeah, it's hard to tell if it's gonna
wind
go too far
spirit and
that direction or if it's gonna be like set in the real world, but parallels. We'll have to see. But sounds really interesting. So this is our A cover for that. We have the Moss cover, and then we have the Hinty variant.
all right, so Savage Tales is doing a winter special one shot. Now, if you think you've seen this cover before, this is a pretty famous
Yeah.
cover. If you find this on its original, like out in the wild, on when it was originally released, this is the Pseudim cover. It's worth a decent little bit of money. So they're reusing this beautiful cover because I think it's hard to find that other one.
Mhm.
For their winter special. It's going to have 4 different stories by several different creative teams, with a lot of the artists coming from the Kubert School of Art. That's sort of the thing.
Very
Like,
fitting.
yeah, they're graduating and now they get to do, these little stories in Savage Tales Winter Special. So this is the main cover to that by Pseudim. Here is the Sharp variant. And then here is the Cayenne variant. And of course, in this, you'll have characters like Draculina, you'll have John Carter, you'll have Delia Thoris. Those are some of the characters in some of the stories.
and you get to make the final grade on each of the Cubert students. You write in and you give them, and that's how they graduate. Okay, next up is a new book from Source Point. This is Curse of Cleaver County double feature. And this is a cool idea. So it's kind of an anthology book, introduces a brand new horror verse to the Source Point Press universe. And it it sounds like each story is set in a different, it says, deadliest fictional locations in the world. So I don't know if that means like, some scary form of Transylvania that's not the real Transylvania or what, or if they make up their own. But each town is going to be a new creative team that has a new slasher character in it. So if you kind of like the one and done stories, but with unique villains and all that,
I mean, there's the guy with the hook for a hand
yeah,
from the most common horror story told since like the 50s.
yep. So I believe, yeah, we have this A cover, and this is the C cover by Wallace.
Okay, so now we are going to get to cool covers and other comics. This is going to be variants that we think are noteworthy in issues number 2 and number 3 of series that are ongoing that you might want to sign up for. Maybe you read the first one, it's time to sign up for them. Beginning with, this is the Mercado variant for Black Panther number 13. And they say this is a spoiler variant. Was it spoiling? It looks like Namor's probably going to be in it.
Spoiling the movie.
Yeah, with Wakanda Forever, not that far in the distance.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense why they do this. So this is the Mercado variant. In this issue, T'Challa is going up against the Avengers, who are trying to get him to stand down. But he does not want to, so get to see
Tough
him
because later we're going to be talking about Daredevil, where in that the Avengers are telling him to stand
stand
down.
down as well.
It's like, wow,
Yeah.
they've got one job.
So this is the Mercado spoiler variant.
Then we have Amazing Spider-Man. I'm going to talk about if this cover looks familiar. It's because it's a very famous cover. This is for Amazing Spider-Man number 17. This is still during the dark web stuff where Peter Parker is now going to be stuck in limbo, which is kind of what all of this is about. And this is the John Romita Jr. classic homage variant. And then this one's big.
Yeah.
This is the, see if I can pronounce the name right, Castrovicchio Disney 100 anniversary cover. These are going to be big
Yeah.
because there'd only been that one cover before that actually featured like the Disney characters
With
the
Mickey
Marvel.
Mouse shaking hands with Spider-Man.
Yeah. So I feel like you're gonna have a lot of collectors out trying to get all of the, which there's not too many of these Disney crossover covers. So really cool. Check that one out.
Yeah, this is going to sell out. Stores are not going to order enough, and it's going to sell out. So definitely ask your store. But don't be fooled. This is not an Avengers
Yeah.
cover. It says the Avengers. This is still the variant for Amazing Spider-Man number 17. We assure you. Okay. By the way, there's a lot of homage covers
Yeah.
that are going on this week. Like this one, for instance. This is the Scotty Young homage cover to Captain America symbol, or for Captain America symbol of truth number 9. So that is what this is. And in this issue, Sam Wilson is continuing to go up against White Wolf, who's been sort of the major sort of thorn in his side for a while. Pretty cool that Scotty Young got to do one of the homages.
And then we have Daredevil number 7. This is the Cho classic homage variant. Classic 2. Is that the Death of Elektra issue? Yeah.
One wins, one loses.
And yeah, spoiler alert, after I said Death of Elektra, who wins? But in this one, like we said before, Daredevil and Elektra are really starting to push the limits, and it seems like the Avengers are going to have to step in and try to subdue Daredevil, which is not going to go well.
Okay, here is the Kendrick Lim variant to Carnage issue number 9. Or I'm sorry, you know what? This is not the variant. This is the main cover.
Wow.
But I thought it was so interesting. I just, put it with our cover section.
Yeah, it takes a second to like digest
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I think this is, I mean, if you're a Carnage fan, you're going to want a cover like this. So actually, this is the main cover to Carnage number 9. And in this issue, Carnage is he's still trying to gain as much power as Null. That's sort of his thing in this. This begins a new story arc called Forged in Blood.
Mhm.
So good jump on point as well. And again, the artist name on this is Kendrick Lim, who has a nickname. It's like a middle nickname in quotes. It's Punka.
Okay.
Kendrick Punka Lim. So that might be a name to remember because really awesome cover.
And next up, we have a series that I have been loving every issue of it, and talk about just crazy cool covers.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is good.
Ghost Rider number 10. Now, the big thing, this is the Berens A cover, but this is actually kind of the culmination of all the characters that have had the different kind of story paths we've been following with Ghost Rider and War Road and Exhaust, and all of those are going to be coming together, meeting finally, and we're going to get a big showdown between Ghost Rider and Exhaust, which I can't wait for. Uh, but this also kicks off the next kind of section of this Ghost Rider story. I don't even know if it's next story arc because it says like it's going to be featuring new allies, threats, and some returning faces. So sounds really interesting. If you've been reading this, of course you're going to pick this one up. But great cover here, and we also have a couple of other really nice
I
covers.
wanted to put this cover here because you like Exhaust a lot, and I was like,
It's
this
just
is
he's like the most like metal band album cover
it's like
character.
how can you come up with a character as metal as Flaming Skull, with a chain like Ghost Rider? Well, I think they did
Yeah.
it.
Then we have the Phil Noto classic homage variant.
That's great. Yeah, that's to the first appearance of Ghost Rider.
And then we have the Pinosian variant as well.
Those are all really good
Yeah.
covers.
I
A
mean,
lot of good covers this week.
artists just want to draw Ghost Rider. It's just, he's so cool.
Okay, so I know issue number 1 is not out, but it is time already to place an order for issue number 2 if you want it. This is Dark Web Ms. Marvel number 2. That's what this is. So sometimes because of printing issues, they make us have to place our orders before issue number 1's even out. So if you know you want all the Dark Web stuff or you're a Ms. Marvel fan, you should probably tell your store that you want this. So again, this is issue number 2 of Dark Web Ms. Marvel. This is just the A cover. And in this, Ms. Marvel is going to be trapped in limbo. We know a lot of things go on there. So
Yeah, like every solicit for Dark Web is like, so and so is trapped in limbo.
yeah.
Okay. Next up, we have Legion of X number 9. Got some cool covers in this, as a lot of the mutants are actually getting turned into monstrous versions of themselves. So this is the Ben Harvey A cover.
Yeah, I really like this cover, just seeing Nightcrawler, sort
Yeah.
of more demonic.
And then we have the Edge variant.
Okay, so next up, we have Miles Morales, Spider-Man number 2. This is the Hans homage variant. And in this issue, Miles goes up against an upgraded Scorpion.
Mm.
And so that's the Hans homage cover. And then we have the Balderi
Oh, gosh.
graffiti cover. I know, yeah, this one's so different than the other. When I was going through these, I hit this one. I just had to stop and look at it for a while.
You can feel the speed.
Yeah.
And then next up, we have Mary Jane and Black Cat, part of Dark Web, or as I wrote down, MJ and Black Car. That's my autocorrect. But this is our J. Scott Campbell cover, and like all the Dark Webs, they're trapped in limbo. But I thought it was interesting. There's a little bit more info here where they are at the mercy of Belasco the Swordsman, and Mary Jane has some powers that have manifested. So pretty interesting. And just going back to that Timeless cover where we saw her wearing a spider suit. Who knows?
Interesting.
That could be coming out of this. But this is our J. Scott Campbell A cover. And then we have this really nice Anka B cover.
Okay, here is the Peach Momoko variant, the classic homage variant for Monica Rambeau Photon number 2. So in this one, Monica, like the solicitation basically says that Monica has everything go wrong that could possibly go wrong as she is in space on her voyage. So you have to tune in to read this issue to see what it is. This is the Momoko homage variant for that.
Then we have Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur number 2. In this one, Moon Girl finds out that her fellow roller derby teammate and tween influencer friend is actually a Capri in disguise. Can't trust anyone. And what's interesting, the artist who did this cover is named Rico, but it's R the number one CO. So uh, interesting. Never seen that name come across before. So that is your B cover for Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur number 2.
Yeah, it does seem like there's some new names
Mhm.
this week. It was pretty good covers. Okay, check this out. This is the David Nakayama homage variant for Moon Knight number 19. I
That's
th- I
cool.
think this one's going to do very well. So in this issue, Moon Knight is actually going to end up in the seas near New York for some reason. Yeah, I don't really see Moon Knight going in the ocean too often, so I wonder
Doesn't seem
why.
like too big of a swimmer.
Yeah. Meanwhile, what's his name? Zodiac is back. So who was a very major villain for the first arc of this series. So again, this is a Nakayama variant for Moon Knight number 19.
We have a really cool cover for Predator number 6. And this one is done by Magno. And in this one, it looks like our main character may be going up against the predator she's been hunting all along. Who knows? It seems a little early for that, but it sounds like there is going to be a big predator fight.
Okay, so this is the regular cover. This is just a Kemonkoli regular cover. And I don't even think that so this is not one of the homage variants yet. It's
Yeah, it's
clearly
like
an homage.
that's an
Yeah, I
homage.
thought that was funny. Just, they have, anyway. This is the regular cover to Savage Avengers number A. And here is the Kyle Hotz variant for that same issue. And in this, Punisher 2099 is going to have to team up with Deathlock as they fight Ultron in 2029 universe. So that's what's going on in that.
Then we've got some great covers for Star Wars Darth Vader number 30. So kind of another, but it's not like priced as a milestone issue or anything. But I mean, Vader has constantly had such successful series; they all reach very high numbers. And this issue sounds cool. The culmination of a lot of stuff that's been going on because it's Vader versus the handmaidens, the Padme that he met way back, and they've been preparing to face off against him, but he's been preparing as well. So this is our RAHZZAH A cover. Then we have the Sprouse Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary cover. I just watched this movie last night. Then we have a variant for Star Wars High Republic number 4. This is by Bengal. And the next big part in the High Republic story we know is leading to the Battle of Jeddah. And it says this is where that begins. So very cool. And then we have the concept cover for Star Wars Mandalorian number 7. We're almost finished with this first season story arc of Mandalorian. We haven't got any word if they're going to be doing season 2, but I guess they probably will.
I bet they will. Okay, this is the Caselli variant to Tiger Division number 3. You get to see just all the members together there. And in this issue, it says you're going to learn more about Taiguchi's origin, like surprises that he didn't even know about his own origin. And on top of that, a new villain will emerge. So again, this is a Caselli variant to Tiger Division number 3.
Then, this is a great cover. We have Wolverine number 29. This issue kind of, from what I could tell, it just explores like the dual nature of Wolverine being Logan and Wolverine and what that kind of means for his life. But we have this really cool Granov classic homage variant. And then we have the Stegman demonized variant. So we're still not through all the demonized ones. And that last one was a homage of number 1, Wolverine number
Oh
1.
yeah, yep, Frank Miller.
Can you imagine being like,
Limited
you've
series
got to
number 1.
homage Frank Miller? Good luck, no pressure.
Okay, so this is the Kevin Eastman variant
That's
to
awesome.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Armageddon Game number 4. I know, I like this one a lot
Yeah, it's
too.
awesome colors.
And so yeah, this is the Eastman variant, and in this issue, as the contest for the world continues, the Rat King is laughing in the shadows. So they're not revealing a whole lot of what's
Yeah.
happening in it. You got to read it. So.
And then we have, this is for X-Men number 18, a very intense variant by Kasara. for that issue.
Yeah, who threw acid on X-23?
Just not happy about it.
Okay, so I talked about this one earlier. This is the Joe Quesada variant for Batman
Wow.
131. Joe Quesada used to be the sort of the creative head of Marvel for
Mhm.
ages until lately, and he jumped ship because he wanted to draw some Batman.
That was the one reason. He
Yep,
said, "This is such a great job and great pay, but can't draw Batman."
yep. So in this issue, this follows the last arc. So after the failsafe arc, can the ghost left of Bruce Wayne go on? You know, that last arc really beat him down.
Mhm.
So I don't think he's literally a ghost. I think the solicitation, you know what I mean. So this is the Casada variant. Here is the Upgerm variant, and here is the Jason Fabok variant for Batman number 131.
That is a strong Batman you don't want to mess with. Okay, this is really a great cover. You need to pause it and
Clearly wrap around.
yeah, get close to it and look at all the characters because this is for Batman Urban Legends number 23. This is a name I will definitely butcher. Nicola Kismesija. Uh, Kismesiha.
You did it.
Yeah, I'm sure I nailed it. But this is actually the final issue of Batman Urban Legends. I kind of felt like that snuck up on everybody, wasn't realizing the series was wrapping up. But of course, since the last issue, they've got this kind of greatest hits cover with all the characters that have appeared in it, including like Grifter and stuff. So really cool. If you've enjoyed that series, you can wrap it up with this last one.
Okay, here is the main cover to Beetle Graduation Day number 2. And in this, you know, Blue Beetle's trying to figure out who is this yellow beetle. You can see on the cover
Yeah.
there. So that's sort of the mystery being explored in Blue Beetle Graduation Day issue number 2.
And then we have DC versus Vampires number 12 of 12, the final issue of DC versus Vampires. I really wonder if they're going to take this in the DC's direction and we're going to get, you know, other
Another one.
intro into the series or whatever. But this is the Zerdy variant for that one.
Okay, this is the Jim Lee, Scott Williams, and Alex Sinclair B variant. I say B variant because they did the next one I'm going to show you too. For Detective Comics number 1067. Here is the C variant, the holiday variant by the same team.
Wow.
Yep, Jim
That's
Lee,
cool.
Scott Williams, and Alex Sinclair. And in this issue, Mr. Freeze makes an offer to Batman. Some sort of, I guess, a common enemy truce offer, it
It
sounds
says I
like.
can make your house cooler for less money than you're currently paying.
And of course, there's a lot more on Two Face. You know, last issue was very Two Face centric, and there's more in this issue as well.
Then we have Flash number 790. I'm really interested in this because I know there's like a special like story arc coming up. I believe it even has a one shot, the 1 minute war. But it sounds like this is part of that because this is Flash versus speedster aliens that come to Earth, and they have the most intense battle for 60 seconds. So I think this is also going to have like a this is going to be a bigger deal than this one issue, at least from what I remember reading. They could have just made it this one issue, but sounds like a very interesting storyline. And this is the Mustafa variant.
Okay, here is the Matina variant for Harley Quinn number 25.
You told people this was coming.
Yeah, last issue was the first appearance of the Harley Who Laughs. So, what the solicitation on this kind of says is this mystery of who killed Harley turns into sort of a multiverse mystery with possibly a bunch of other Harleys from other multiverses getting involved as well. Even though it does look like the Harley Who Laughs is the one who killed the Harley of the DC universe that we know and love. So again, this is the Matina variant for Harley Quinn number 25. Here is the Kaplan holiday variant.
A little bit brighter and happier.
Yeah, I'd be kind of scared to open a gift from Harley, but I would. I'd have to
To see
know.
what it is.
Yeah.
Like you could get it like a boxing glove in the face on
Yeah.
a spring.
And then here is the Kale
Oh,
New
man.
variant with Spawn. I think this one's gonna be big. This is another one I didn't put with my big Spawn block.
I would
probably
love to
should
see
have.
this team up because you know he would just get so tired of her nonsense.
That's how almost everybody who teams up with her, feels about her.
And then, I mean, Bermejo's been knocking these covers out of the park for Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing. This is for number 4. This is the Bermejo cover, and yeah, just horrifying. Not as horrifying as that Santa Joker, but still scary.
Okay, this is the Jenny Frison variant to Poison Ivy number 8. Great Frison variant for that series, and in this, it's the further adventures of Poison Ivy in fracking. Yeah, that's what she's doing. You'll have to read to see exactly why. And then here is the DeCall variant for that same issue.
Then we have Justice Society of America number 2. Haven't gotten number 1 yet, but I'm very excited about this. And in this, Huntress, in this version of Huntress, who is the daughter of Batman and Catwoman, comes to the present time looking for the Justice Society, but they're not quite what she was expecting when she gets there. So I'm very excited about this book, and this is our Janin A cover.
Here's the Rose Besh variant for Punchline, the Gotham game number 3. A lot to take in, a lot of
Yeah.
color, a lot of lines, a lot of swooshes. So Punchline has become public enemy number 1 in Gotham again. She took on Batman last issue. She tried to kill someone. She threw someone off a building. She did a bunch of terrible things right in Batman's face too, and insulted him. So I think it's pretty cool that she's not like really hiding in the shadows or doing things from prison anymore.
Mhm.
She is out there being a villain. But it might be Catwoman who she has to worry about. So the person she injured was somebody that Catwoman really cares about. So it looks like they're on a collision course. Like they haven't really said that her series and Catwoman are crossing over, but it really feels
Yeah.
that way. So this is the Besh variant, and then here we have the Ijikure variant for Punchline Gotham game number 3.
Then we have Riddler number 2 of 6. This is, of course, the series written by Paul Dano that's like a kind of prequel to the Batman. Issue number 1 flew off the shelves, and you'll definitely want to pick up issue number 2, and this is the variant by Subic.
Here is the Dan Mora variant to Tim Drake Robin number 4. And in this issue, Bernard has been kidnapped. It's like they've hardly even been together, and he's already kidnapped. Like
So that's why you can't get involved in
you gotta be
relationships in the Bat
careful with
family.
relationships with the Bat family, and it's up to Tim Drake to save him.
This is also an homage cover of Batman and Robin number 1, the Grant Morrison series.
Yep.
Very cool. Okay, and next up we have
This one's funny because it's not the final cover. It's like I think it's Redondo drawing
yeah.
himself, writing not the final. He made a placeholder cover. First time I've ever seen that.
It's like you think DC was kind of mad, and they're like, you took the time to not finish this cover, but draw you and Tom Taylor
Like,
not finishing your work. It's
it
like
made me laugh. I had to put it on. I couldn't believe when I saw that.
I bet if this book gets a second printing, that's going to be the second printing cover because
Yeah.
it's just too funny.
So to go on about this though, there is an acetate cover for Nightwing number 100 that has to be ordered now. So there's of course going to be tons of different Nightwing 100 covers that we'll probably have on our next show or show after. Those orders aren't due, but the acetate, since it's a special printing process, you've got to order it now, and you got to order it sight unseen because we don't know what it's going to be. How much of this will be that acetate? It could be none of it. I don't know.
Just peel it back and says, "Sorry, I didn't finish."
But to guarantee you get it, you have to place the orders now because we have to place them by Sunday night. So I still think it is funny he took the time to do this. Okay, so
Next up is I Hate Fairyland number 2. This was, I mean, the original series came out back when I worked at a different store. I remember it being super popular and everything, but it's funny now to see how many people were like, come back there. I love that series. It's coming back. Like all these people you never knew read this book. So this is I Hate Fairyland number 2. You can guess from what happened at the end of number 1 where she's heading and by the title of the book.
yeah.
But this is our Scotty Young expletive cover, I guess you would call it. And then we have I believe this is the Peach Momoko variant.
Oh my lord, this is the person you avoid when you run into them late at night
Yeah.
at the IHOP or Waffle House or whatever
Yeah,
late
you say,
night.
can I get the seat over there?
Yeah.
It looks like she's going to have some issues.
Okay, so time for my corner of Spawn variants. So
I can
got
take a break.
quite a few of these to go through. Here is Spawn Scorched number 13, the Aguilo variant. This makes sense. I mean, it's Spawn Scorched, let's have a Spawn cover on a Spawn book. But here are the rest. This is Image 30th Anniversary Anthology number 9, the Spawn variant. Then we have Junkyard Joe number 3, the Spawn variant. Then we have Chroma number 2, the Spawn variant, which I really like number 1 in this series a lot. Here is Needlehawk's Nightmare blog number 11, Spawn variant. Here is Vanish, issue number 4, the Cates and Stegman book, Spawn
He
variant.
fits in that really well.
Kate is still like, man, I've had Spawn on so many covers of my books. Why can't I get him in the book?
It never appeared on the interior of a
Yeah.
Stegman book.
Here is the Voyages number 2 Spawn variant. Here's the What's the Furthest Place from Here number 9 Spawn variant.
It's really out of place.
I know. I like this one. Like they're intently into something and Spawn's just back there. Like, seriously, you're gonna ignore me, guys? Like, oh man. Okay, here's Deadliest Bouquet number 5, the Spawn variant. And then here is Hitomi number 3, the Spawn variant. So I'm going to stop here and say there are a few others to order that didn't have their covers ready. So if you want the ones I'm about to tell you about, you'll have to ask your store and get them sight unseen. There is I Hate Fairyland number 2 as a Spawn variant that wasn't ready yet.
That one did finally come up. It's really funny. You've got it because it's Scotty Young. It's a Christmas cover. I'll just say that.
Okay. Manifest Destiny number 48 has the Spawn cover that is available to order this week. Rogue Sun number 9, and lastly, Walking Dead Deluxe number 53. So if you're trying to collect them all, those are the ones that weren't ready when I put the show together as of noon today.
Yeah.
Apparently the Spawn one or the I Hate Fairyland has come out since, but
yeah, she's Spawn is sitting on her lap.
So she's the Santa.
And she has a big green beard. Very funny. Okay, so we have Stuff of Nightmares, number 4 of 4. This is the final issue of the R.L. Stine Stuff of Nightmares book. And this is the Olivetti variant, which is also, this is full of homages.
Yeah.
So this is the homage to Castlevania.
Castlevania, of course, I had to put this one
Yeah.
on here. So they even have the little seal, the Nintendo seal, but it's a boom seal in that bottom corner. Okay, so this is the Hurt variant for Door to Door Night to Night number 2. Issue number 1 just launched the other week. It is a Cullen Bunn's new horror series about door to door salesmen who take a demon hunter into their ranks unknowingly, and so now they're door to door salesmen and they hunt demons. So again, this is the Hurt variant for that. Now to our last segment. It is other printings and graphic novels.
Starting with Blade Vampire Nation, second printing, but this was just a one shot, right?
It was.
So number 1, but it's a one shot. This is covers done by Gia Giordano.
Okay, the next second printing is Captain America Winter Soldier Special gets a second printing. I reviewed this one on our review show, and I said that if you're reading that Captain America series, you really want to read this one. It has a lot to do with the Outer Circle, their origin. Good issue. If you're not reading Captain America, you will be so confused. Like, it really is, it should have just been an issue in that series. That's how close
We're also here for honesty. We want to make sure if you pick this up, like, you know what you're getting yourself into.
For sure.
Then we have, oh, this one's awesome. I didn't actually see this one before. This is Gold Goblin number 1, second printing, the Marcos Cicchetto. But he did those 2 covers, the Green Goblin and the Gold Goblin, and now they're combined on this one. It's tearing apart.
All right, Incredible Hulk number 1 is releasing a new facsimile. So this has been done before. This is the first time they've done a facsimile of this, but it hasn't been done in a while. This, of course, originally came out back in 1962. It was by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. So here is your chance to get a facsimile, ads and all, copy of Incredible Hulk #1.
And then this one is really cool. This is a more of a book uh, with a lot of pictures. And this is Star Wars timelines, and this follows basically like putting everything into place in Star Wars. I know if you're a super Star Wars nerd like me, you'll definitely want to get this because it follows the whole history, even the advancements of things. It says like here's like when TIE fighters started to get built, and here's what they changed into later, and how those changed over time. Plus different conflicts, key dates, all of that, and it's spearheaded and written by Kristen Baver, who, if you watch the Star Wars show, the official Star Wars YouTube show, she's the host of that. So really cool book.
Yeah, and even High Republic, because look at the top center
Yeah.
as High Republic. So, all right. So, Loki is getting an omnibus. So this is Loki, God of Stories, the omnibus. It is going to be $125, but for that, you get 976 pages of Loki stories. Loki hasn't had really ongoing
hmm
tell, so it's a lot of those mini series put together. That's going to include Loki, Agent of Asgard, his Loki Original Sin, his part of Original Sin. You're going to get Vote Loki, and pretty much all things where he has been the central character, for 900 some pages. So this is our main cover, and then there is a Cho variant for that as well.
Then we have Marvel Masterworks. Yes, they're still coming out with Marvel Masterworks. This is Marvel Masterworks Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1. Now, these are pricey because they're like premium edition books. This is collects Amazing Fantasy 15 and Amazing Spider-Man 1 through 10. I believe there's also two versions of this. There's the main one and the variant. Yeah, the variant that's like even classier.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the second print of Swamp Thing Green Hell #1. Now, this is interesting why they did this second print. They did it because number 2 and 3, because this is a 3-issue miniseries, they got delayed so long that they want to make sure that before they release 2 and 3, which are coming out in February and March, that they go ahead and get this #1 back on the shelf.
Yeah.
So that is why this second print sort of exists from what I've read. So number 2 and 3 will be in February and March, but in the meantime, you can catch back up if you missed this Swamp Thing.
Yeah,
Green
Doug
Hell
Mahnke, I
#1.
believe, had some family or health issues or whatever, and I just saw someone ask like Jeff Lemire the other day, is like, is that still going on? He's like, yes, but we want to make sure it's like 100% what it's supposed to be. So you're gonna have to wait, but I feel like this is a smart move putting this out if you didn't even get a chance to read the first time around.
Yeah.
And then this, man, do I have to get this right? Because he'll let me hear about it. No, this is awesome. So, Elephant Man, if you're not familiar, it was originally an Image comic
Yep.
many years ago, and it's written by Richard Starkings, who is a mutual friend of ours, a customer at the store, and much more successful than either of us will ever be. Um, uh, Read that series at Image a long time, but because you own your own properties Image,
Correct.
it became a Comixology original, and that's what this is collecting. Is the I would say this is a great jumping on point too if you are unfamiliar with Elephant Men. Even he describes it as Blade Runner meets Planet of the Apes. Uh, Very sci-fi, very Blade Runner, but with these elephant men who are these giant uh, humanoid animals. And in this one, you get two stories, and that's why I think it's such a good jumping on point because Elephant Man's story is very big, but these are very like personal stories that
Right.
kind of eases you into this world. The first is a whodunit, very good story about a one of the Elephant Men that gets murdered, and who's the prime suspect is kind of a locked door mystery. And then the second one is a train heist where the things being stolen are pretty cool, very good. I read these when they originally came out. Very happy that this is getting printed now by Dark Horse. So if you want to jump on board, all of these are going to be printed by Dark Horse. All the Comixology originals. So great place if you've never read it. It's Elephant Men, 2261, Volume 1.
Yeah, volume 1, so probably more after this. And this is only $25 too,
Yeah.
so really good value. I highly recommend this. This
Mhm.
is excellent, excellent if you've never read it. If you're into indie stuff, and if you even like Blade Runner 1%,
Yeah.
you'd probably don't like it as much as Richard does. And he does his own thing.
Yeah.
But if you like the source
Part of it,
material, the
like
atmosphere
yeah, the
is
atmosphere, the kind of rainy,
yeah,
noirish future, neon, all that.
yeah. Okay, and lastly, it is Middle West, the complete tale. So this is going to be all 8 issues of Middle West, the entire thing. This is going to be $30. This was by Scotty Young with George Corona doing the art. This is also going to have some bonus material. And of course, this follows this kid named Abel with his childhood friend, the fox. And after this very terrible storm where he loses his father and it kind of wrecks his house, he ends up going on an adventure through this mythical world of creatures, which, if y'all have seen Twig since, Scotty Young can do some mythical creature writing.
Yeah.
So if you missed this and now you're a Scotty Young fan, go back and check this out. This is really good. So $30 for Middle West, the complete tales, and also some bonus material as well.
Scotty Young has quite the library now.
He
I mean,
does.
it's incredible. Like, just look up everything he's actually written and worked on. It's some really good
Yeah,
stuff.
our store opened in 2014, and so we were there for like sort of the entire rise. He was already doing stuff, but he was like, just another
Yeah.
sort of variant artist. And now, I mean, anybody comes in, I'm like, go check out all this Scotty Young
Yeah,
stuff.
we can have a whole section just for him.
Yeah. Right, so that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. We really would appreciate that. We'll be back on Monday with our weekly review show where we'll actually have read all the new comics coming out that week, and we'll be telling you what's in them a day in advance.
Yes.
So thank you, and we will see you next time.